the topic of abortion never seems to go away. And I want to talk to you as someone of science and as an atheist who obviously has no morals. How do you negotiate this? Because it seems to me that people on the left, when they talk about abortion, they make it sound like everyone on the right hates women and that they want to control women. And when people on the right talk about it, they make it sound like everyone on the left hates babies and they want to kill babies, right? And neither one of those things are true. And that's very obvious. So how do you, as someone that comes to conclusions based on science, how do you navigate the sort of ethical, I assume you're pro-choice, but actually I'm just assuming that, but is that?
No, of course I am.
Okay. So how do you then, as someone that's pro-choice, believes in evidence, believes in science, how do you decide where, like, do you think that it should be a 2-month cutoff for an abortion?
Oh, interesting.
Where do you come up with that as someone that isn't coming from the religious angle, but is coming from the science-based angle?
I'd say abortion should be legal up until 12 years old, probably. Like until the brain is fully, actually that'd be more like 25.
We got the name for the show. Now. That's the one that's going to take off.
Shit. You know, it's funny because I am an evidence-based thinker. I try to be an evidence-based thinker and a skeptical thinker, and I try to listen to the science first and then make my political decisions based on that. So I am liberal. I am left-wing. I am progressive. I think it's easy to paint me in that. But I'm also super mandatory vaccinations. I'm pro-GMOs, which is usually a more conservative viewpoint. So sometimes it's hard to put me in a box. Now, I'm not pro-life. I am pro-life. I hate that term. It makes it sound like I'm not. I am pro-choice. Not because, it's partially because of the science and it's partially because I'm not religious. And I think that a lot of pro-life ideology comes purely from religion. And once you take religion out of the equation, it becomes a much more nuanced and complicated topic. I am pro-choice, meaning that I don't think that if a woman wants to have an abortion, she shouldn't be able to. And I don't think that if a woman wants to keep her baby, she should be coerced to have an abortion. I think that a woman should be able to make a decision based on her own body. And in my view, which may sound kind of extreme, until that baby is born, it's hers. It's her body.
Right. So I agree with you, I guess, up until that point. I'm absolutely pro-choice. But a week before the birth? I mean, where, you know what I mean? I know that gets into just a
straw man argument because it doesn't happen.
Right.
It's like the voter ID stuff, you know, like, oh, voter fraud. We got to be careful about that. Women don't carry babies to a week to term and then go, I think I'm going to lose this baby.
Right. All right. So, but at 3 months, when the baby now has features and, you know, all of these things, and I guess this is the slippery slope.
It's legal up to this point. It's legal. First and second trimester abortions are legal. And I think that you have to look at all. This is the thing. When you're writing laws, we have to think about not just the obvious cases, but the aberrant cases. This is why writing legislation is actually a very, it's a nuanced and artistic endeavor. And especially then when you look at how you defend laws in the courts, right? When you look at case law, it's complicated because we have to fully understand all of the times when the laws could be misused or misinterpreted. And there are cases, for example, where a woman does not know that she is pregnant until well into her pregnancy. And I think you do have to take that into consideration. There are cases in which women are victims of coercion or abuse, or sometimes it is more nuanced than that. Maybe they feel pressure from their husband, their boyfriend, or a member of society to have a baby, and they don't realize until later that they do have these options. Maybe they fall on financially difficult times. Maybe they find out that there's some sort of genetic abnormality in the baby and that they don't have the means to raise that baby. And I think that all of those really complicated, really emotional, personal questions have to be taken into account. I want to say, and maybe it's easy for me to say because I don't have kids, but the woman is the vessel and she is carrying this child, and until the child comes out of her, it is her body, it is her choice, and they are her rights. And I do think that it's a complicated topic, and I think that that's why it's important that we do talk about it. And that
I know,
more
and
people
I
are
agree with you, and
talking
I
about
almost
it.
regret having said the part about the 1 week before birth because I know it is a straw man and it's not something that happens, but I think there's something interesting about the when is it really a feasible life thing, and obviously we can't resolve that now.
And I think that we have to think about every possible option, because even religious people, you'll find that whereas they would be appalled if they got knocked up and had an abortion, they might go get IVF, which some religions don't even allow that. but they might get IVF, and of course they're going to do selective reduction during IVF. Is that not abortion in their view? I mean, it's very complicated because, you know, sometimes you do IVF and like 5 of them stick, and then you turn into John and Kate plus 8.